this will not be very easy for the very simple reason this is a common framework. They try to create common rules across member states that will try to coordinate the lifting and easing of restrictions and creating some common rules. But this is not the first time the European Union is trying to do so. And most of the time in the past, as we all know, the member states refuse to cooperate and they continue to somehow determine their own criteria that govern the free movement of persons. This time, the major game changer, and that's why there's so much expectation, is the creation of a COVID certificate that will exempt from travel-related restrictions, such as testing and quarantines, the holder of such a certificate. This is the major novelty, which in principle might facilitate the free movement, the cross-border across Europe. But at the same time, we need to remember that the conditions of access to get this certificate will change from one country to another. It is each country to determine who gets the vaccine, who gets the test, under which conditions, who is going to be declared as immunized. And therefore, each country reserves the right to actually refuse the COVID certificate as such. This might actually be the source of much confusion and unpredictability for the summer ahead of us.
Exactly, that was my next question. Do you think we're going to have a system on point and functioning by summer?
Well, I think the system will be up and running as a matter of few weeks because neither the Parliament nor the Council are against it. However, in the practical things, we could see that in the future there will be major obstacles. I give you an example. What about all European citizens who have received one dose, but they haven't received the second dose? Will this be enough to be recognized as holder of a certificate? Some member states might agree and actually grant the certificate, but some others might refuse it and impose extra requirements like a quarantine or actually even a testing. So this means that there will be a lot of, let's say, gray areas that will be determined by each country with very little coordination or hope for coordination for the whole European Union.
Do you consider this COVID passport as yet another major test that the COVID-19 pandemic has offered the European Union?
There's no doubt that the functioning of this COVID certificate will represent yet another test to the European Union mutual trust. At the end of the day, what we're talking about is trusting each other. If the authorities of one country won't accept a COVID certificate coming for people coming from another, will ultimately demonstrate that they don't really trust one another. And therefore, the conditions are not met to actually harmonize those conditions. We're talking about interoperability. We're not talking about harmonization of conditions. These are two very different concepts, and we will see very soon the limits of this approach that the European Union had to take, because at the end of the day, health competencies remain in the hands of the member states, and the states want to remain in full control of who are the people entering their territory. This is absolutely antithetical to the idea of free movement that exists within the Schengen area.